Good morning, everybody. This is Diggs. This is another beautiful, stormy and windy day out here in the Pacific Northwest. Today, we're going to be talking about Thancred. His EX information was released in the JP's second year anniversary. We're going to talk about how Goombie has kind of taken him around back and shot him. And honestly, he had a few bullets in him already. Let's go ahead and dig in. Now, there may be some believers out there that think that Thancred will be viable in some capacity, and they're not wrong. I do think that Thancred's EX, if you are maybe a newer player, if you don't have access to previously free units or currently free units like Cecil, like Camillo, he may be able to kind of fill in the gap in a light / composition to help you out. I think, though, even given his current state, he's going to struggle even with his upgrades. Right now, if you look at Thancred, you pull up his stats, the first thing that's most noticeable that you're going to see is his 30% magic reduction. That's painful. In a world full of Black Rose Helena, in a world full of other magic-based units, you are never going to be taking Thancred into a PvP or into a GVG situation, no matter what. Almost any other unit is going to be more viable than Thancred because of this alone. There is kind of a fact that he does have access to Super Bolide, and a lot of people might use this as a justification because Super Bolide did get an upgrade and it's a 50% damage shield, but a damage shield can easily be taken off in the kind of world that we're in now, where almost every team composition has some form of barrier break. It's not going to be enough to protect him. Yes, he has access to sub red mage and magic resistance. That's still not going to be enough to protect him. He's still going to be 15% weak to magic. He has a huge amount of HP, still not going to help. He is going to be decimated, one shot, destroyed. I don't know how many ways I can tell you that Thancred is not a good idea right now, and I don't think his EX is going to be a good idea. I think his EX is going to be a waste of blossoms for most players. Now, why else would I think this? What else is going on here? Well, Thancred's kit is problematic in its own right. He has very high HP, but let's take a look at his base stats and how he compares to the other units in the game right now. He does have really high HP. He has the 28th highest HP in the game, especially once you consider he's got his second mastery going. It's up there. His attack, 44th in the game. Again, he's not necessarily like a huge attacker, but he can deal some damage. Where we run into serious problems is his agility and his dexterity. His agility is 108th out of 137 units. That is not good. Considering the lack of agility upgrades that we usually get with a unit's EX, Thancred would need to see an incredible agility increase to even be viable, I would say, in PvE content. Now, the bigger problem in my eye is his dexterity. He is 132nd in dexterity right now out of 137 units. That is crazy. In a world where we are saturated with evasion-based units, to be 132nd on the dexterity list is terrible. You do not want to be there. And if you think his EX is going to fix this, maybe it'll bump him up. He's still going to be, 70th, 75th, 78th, somewhere in there where it just is not going to be worth it, really, I think, to invest in him as a newer player even. If you're looking at Thancred and you're like, oh, I like Thancred, I like Final Fantasy XIV, don't do it. Don't waste your rainbows on him. Like, don't waste your weed, dude. Just invest it in another unit. Now, why am I so concerned? Well, Thancred, number one, he didn't have a limit break. He's a cost 100 unit. He kind of came out initially, no limit break, no voice acting. He's getting the voice acting now. Still no limit break. Literally, we were watching the 2nd anniversary and we were like, okay, Thancred, like, show us what you got, you know, get ready. The announcer was like, oh, one more thing. And everybody thought it was either going to be a limit break or another Final Fantasy XIV unit. And it was neither. Like, Thancred just got his ability upgrades and base stat upgrades, which we still don't know the base stats yet, but let's be honest, have base stats ever really saved a single unit in this game? Most of the time, not really. But his ability upgrades as well were not even what we needed. Thancred is a tank. He's been a tank historically, and what he needed was a buff to maintain his enmity generation. And he didn't get it. He did not get that. Not only did he not get that, he didn't get very decent upgrades at all. He got an upgrade to Super Bolide. Now, Super Bolide, of course, is the, you know, primary Gunbreaker ability from Final Fantasy XIV, if you guys do play that. And, you know, Super Bolide, you know, previously it decreased HP, added a 50% barrier for 3 turns, or 3 hits, something like that. Now the HP consumption is removed from it. It adds AP consumption down. Like, great, you're going to be able to, you know, have AP consumption down. It's still not going to save Thancred. Yes, he can close gaps. Yes, he has a 2-hit attack. I mean, he's not going to be fast enough to use his AP. Like, your other units are going to be lapping him. Like, that's how bad his agility is. It's not going to happen. Camouflage 2, one of his other passives, raises missile resistance. Okay, gets an added effect of defense resistance penetration. That's really good. But are you really going to be setting that when you have initial AP up, when you have magic resistance? Like, if you're going to want him to be viable, you are going to have to set his magic resistance passive from Red Mage sub. That's just universal. You're going to have to set that. If you want him to deal damage, I mean, Camouflage 2 is a good option. Are you going to pick that over initial AP? Probably, depending on your sub job and your kind of choice of action. But you never know, right? You don't know. Finally, he got a job level 25 ability, Blasting Zone 2, which is reasonably decent. It lowers the opponent's defense. He's the only light unit that can quote unquote lower defense with his own kit. He has good range on this attack. It's a cross-shaped AoE attack, and it deals medium damage. Okay, why not have it deal large damage? Like, why? Like, what are you scared of? And people are probably saying, well, Diggs, you know, being able to access and lower defense is really good. And you're absolutely right. That is a very key PvE capability, which is very important, especially if you're in a chain composition party. The problem is that you also have access to the Astrologer Vision card, right? You have access to Clairvoyant Astrologer, which is going to, you know, be able to put on a lot better light element / chainers, right? Off the top of my head, Warrior of Light, King Rob, Camillo, God, who, you can put it on Cecil, maybe? No, not Cecil. Anyone with a Lancer or a sub Dragoon sub job, which is tons of light units, you can put it on. And then you're like, well, Diggs, you know, he still has his 2-hit attack, and you're absolutely right. He does have his 2-hit attack, but why would you invest in him for just that, right? Think of the amount of light units right now that have access to sub soldier, such as Cecil, right? Where you can put triple trick on, all of a sudden he has a 3-hit attack, and he has sub soldier for the increased plus attack. Like, there's so many different options. You have El Sorel for Drain Rush, right? You have so many better options. Like, compare El Sorel at 99 to Thancred 99. Thancred is a 100 cost unit. If you had to choose El Sorel or Thancred, El Sorel is gonna pound the shit out of Thancred, right? Like, you are gonna want nothing to do with him. Even with his EX upgrade, I would rather take a level 99 El Sorel because she's probably going to have better stats, and she's going to have better passives, and she's going to have access to Drain Rush, and she'll probably have more agility. Like, what the fuck are you doing, Gooby? Like, Thancred, you're literally taking Thancred in the back behind the barn and shooting him right before Endwalker comes out. Like, it baffles my mind. Thankfully, our girl Y'shtola did not get the same treatment. Fun fact, by the way, Y'shtola has higher agility than Thancred. Did you know that? Y'shtola has higher agility and higher dexterity than Thancred does. Y'shtola is pretty much an MR unit that is better than a 100 cost light element unit that was released at the beginning of the game. Think about that. Think about that. For any new players watching this, wondering about Thancred, don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't get excited for his EX. You're just gonna be let down. You're just gonna, you're just gonna waste your resources. He's not gonna be good. All right, guys. I think that pretty much sums it up. I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. I hope you guys were as disappointed in Thancreds EX as I was. And I hope you guys are all choosing to walk the good path and invest in your Y'shtola. If you guys do want to support me, you can use my affiliate link, dig.gs/coins. Please leave a comment down below if you do like my new style of videos. I'm having a lot of fun with them, and I just want to know if you guys think they are useful. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of your day.